Well, Cheryl finally got off to sleep.
She's had a rough night.
Do you know what that is?
Yes, of course I know what it is. It's a very old coffee grinder.
Used to be your mother's. Then you got it. You made some fine coffee with that.
That's a lot of hard work for a cup of coffee.
Well, you used to like to have your beans ground fresh. What did it used to say? The harder the work, the greater the reward.
Tell me I didn't really say that.
Doesn't sound much like the Senora, huh?
Hey, the Senora did not sit around just peeling bananas all day, you know.
Oh, no. Hey, come on. You probably had one servant to grind the beans, another servant to brew the beans, and, of course, another one to run out and buy the beans.
We grew our own.
Well, that's right. Of course. You had a big place, right? 50, 60 acres.
1,000.
How many?
1,000.
1,000 acres?
It was a plantation.
With a mansion? How many rooms?
32. 32? Why are we talking about this?
Listen, I got nothing against the good life. I'm just glad you weren't here for the hard times at the McKinnon house.
Oh, I'm sure there were good times, too. Was it really bad?
Oh, well, hey, the kids didn't go hungry, I can say that. Yeah, sometimes it wasn't easy. But at least now, I got Mary's place.
Right. Never starve as long as you own a restaurant.
Yeah, but it's not really a restaurant, you know? I mean, someday I'd like to get a classier joint.
Like what? Like, Tops?
Yeah, why not? That's the kind of place you need, you know?
Me?
Yeah, you could run it. You know, you could organize those fundraisers and big dinner parties. I mean, you got get up and go. You could go make something of yourself.
What's wrong?
What am I doing? What right do I have to plan your future?
I've decided that what I want to do when I get my degree in June is, I want to do social work because I think, you know, maybe there's something that I could really do there.
You know, I'm so proud of you, Mary. I mean, you got a great heart. Hey, if I want to hold your hand, right? I'll hold your hand. What?
Gosh, look at the time. I better get a cab.
Listen, I'll drive you.
No, you can't. What about
No. There's a cop who's going to protect Cheryl. I'll drive it. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Oh, I'll go check to see if it's all right. I'll check the driveway and everything. And when I honk, it's okay to...
Vince. I appreciate what you've done.
Oh, driving you home was nothing.
No, I'm talking about the family. All those years that you took care of them.
Any father would have done the same.
Don't you kid yourself. You've done a lot more than most fathers would in the same situation. I just want you to know that I think you are a wonderful father. And I'm really grateful to you.
Mary. I better go pull the car around. What are you trying to do to me?
What? Are you all right?
I'm up the creek is what I am.
The IRS, what do they want with you?
Everything. My life, my blood. Everything but my dental records. And maybe by next week they'll want them.
What happened?
Your being alive really upset their computer.
Hey, I filed a return.
But dead people don't usually pay their taxes. For 17 years, the IRS has thought that Mary McKinnon is no longer with us. And I've filed as a single. Now, whoop, you're resurrected.
I filed a return.
And their computer blew a fuse, and zillion little bells went bling, bling, bling. whammo, I got that. The IRS doesn't understand our living arrangement.
Well, we'll just have to explain it to them.
I'd love to hear you explain it to them. But they don't want an explanation, Mary. What they want is an audit.
Oh, that's bad, isn't it?
Bad isn't the word.
So what are we going to do?
Tijuana's nice this time of year.
Oh, come on. It's not that serious, is it?
Well, if you don't want to make a run for the border, you and I are going to have to make some very serious decisions.
About what?
We can't ignore it anymore, at least not from the legal point of view.
And what are you talking about?
In the eyes of the law, we're still man and wife. So we're going to have to decide whether we want to be married or not.
Looks like they're going to audit you here, Vince.
Mm-hmm. So, what do we do?
Well, maybe you could amend your return.
How would I do that?
Well, there's a form you can file, but you're going to have to decide if you guys are married or single. That's probably why they came after you in the first place.
I sort of figured that out.
Didn't you explain it to them?
I thought I did.
What about you, Mom? Maybe they're after some back taxes. But then you were out of the country, you weren't working, so I'd assume you're probably okay.
Do you think that we should have filed a joint return?
Maybe, but that's the problem. See, both of you have your own property, your own money. This is nothing to fool around with. I really think you should talk to an attorney.
Looks like we don't have any choice.
What about Zach?
That's a good idea. I'll give him a buzz.
No problem. I got to talk to him anyways right now.
That's great. I'll bet Zach could be a big help.
Well, at least we won't have to give that IRS guy any apple pie.
Why not?
I smell it burning.
Glad you were here.
You haven't given yourself and Vince much thought, have you?
Sure. I've thought about it. Of course I have.
Mom, I don't think you're ready to deal with it right now.
You noticed.
Mm-hmm. You may not have a choice now, though.
How am I supposed to look at a piece of paper that asks me whether I'm married or single or divorced or separated, know what little box I'm supposed to put the X mark in? I'm sorry, my life happens to be a little more complicated.
Maybe you just need a little more time to think this over.
The IRS says 30 days. You figure I can do it in that?
Mom, you and Vince aren't really that close anymore.
Well, yeah, sure. We're you know, like getting reacquainted.
Fine, you've gone out with him a couple times.
A few
Okay, that
times.
doesn't mean that you're ready to marry him.
No,
Right?
I'm not sure that it would work. Not
okay,
yet.
fine. Well, there's
anyway.
other alternatives then.
Like what?
Legal separation.
Oh. Well, I hadn't thought of that.
Look, that would take care of the tax problem right now, and it would give you time to think it over, and you wouldn't have to make a decision right away.
I don't know. I don't feel comfortable even talking about
Then
it.
don't. Don't do anything you don't feel comfortable with, right? Isn't that what you're always preaching to me?
Practice what I preach. you
Exactly.
mean?
Pretty sound advice.
You think we could convince the IRS of that?
Maybe. Mom, are you feeling kind of trapped right now?
Why would you even ask that?
What I mean is, if you can get out of this whole thing if you want to.
Are you saying that you think that I should divorce Vince?
Zach is going to be right over and help you guys out with your return. No problem.
Oh, that's great. Are you leaving?
I have to, Mom. I got a history final tomorrow.
Oh, I loved history. I remember... Hi, can I help you?
Beer.
History was my absolutely favorite, not to mention best subject back in Paraguay.
I remember. Say, maybe you can help me out. Do you know anything about foreign policy during the Vietnam War?
Well, yeah, a little bit. What do you need to know specifically?
Well, I know that the younger generation was against it, so there weren't a lot of volunteers, were there?
No, I think they had some kind of lottery thing, and if your number came up and you weren't in school, you didn't have much choice.
Well, I'm sure glad I wasn't 18 back then, because I would have probably left the country.
Well, if you were drafted, it would have been your duty to serve.
Vince, the war was a mistake.
Hey, we should have won that war, and we would have won it if our objectives had been defined.
What objectives? Killing a lot of innocent village people, women and children, that kind of thing?
Hey, nobody says war is pretty.
It was slaughter, Vince.
What do you know about it, Hotshot? Were you there?
No, I wasn't.
What about you, Ace?
No,
And how do you know what happened?
because I lived through it. I read the papers. I watch the news on television.
Did the television let you know about the 4- and 5-year-olds that were throwing grenades at us? They tell you how difficult it was for us to tell who the enemy was and who he wasn't?
Look, it was a lousy war, but that doesn't mean you could just walk out and leave those people there.
They didn't want us there, man. And nobody wanted us back here either.
Yeah, well, I was proud of the guys who went over and served their country.
Well, there's nothing to be proud of. Because all that war did was take kids like him out of their houses and off the farms. They gave them a rifle and a uniform, and they dumped them into the middle of the most chaotic, ill-defined, free-for-all bloodbath this country's ever seen. You know, after you finish up with something like that, it's a little bit difficult just to head on home like nothing happened.
Wait a minute, I know you. Aren't you...
Yeah. And I just lost my appetite. Whoa.
Must have banged up his leg in the war.
Who is he?
Yeah, a beard. And it threw me for a minute, but... that was John Hudson, all right.
Michael's brother?
Yeah. He was a really great basketball player. His picture used to be splashed all over the sports pages.
You must have had a rough time over there.
Maybe I should call Michael.
I can't believe that was John Hudson. I mean, he was the state MVP back in '67. The whole city was behind him. I mean, it was magical. You had to be there. On the basketball court, John Hudson could do no wrong. John Hudson was everybody's hero. Boy, he could have had a really great career playing in the pros.
Boy, it must have been hard for him to adjust to that cane there.
Yeah, he must have had a pretty rough time over there in the war.
I shouldn't have kept on about Vietnam.
Well, you couldn't know. He's obviously bitter, and anything sets him off.
Thanks for calling. What happened? Where's John?
Oh, we were talking about Vietnam, and he overheard.
Pretty wound up, Michael.
And I shouldn't have gotten him so riled up, but he charged out of here.
Where'd he go?
Oh, I don't know, but he left a lot of burned rubber behind him.
He went up Parkside, if that's any help.
Parkside, the high school's up there, thanks.
Your home.